So here we are, guys, and welcome to the first edition, the inaugural, the final word of your host, me, Stuart Forrester. I'm joined today with two people I regard as very knowledgeable streetwise. I've got Nicky who's a fellow black belt instructor, toured the world, taught across the world, and is well renowned for his jiu-jitsu. And we've also got Samantha Young, who is one of the main activists and really, I would say, one of the proponents for the Black Lives Matter across the London landscape. Now, it might be all political, we want to make it engaging, we want it to be fun. And what we're trying to consider, guys, we'll take into consideration a number of topics. So we'll be thinking about society, Black Lives Matter, COVID, how this actually affects us mentally, physically, and also the impact upon sports as well. Because naturally we've seen a lot of things taken away from us, where we've gone from being quite a free and liberated sort of country to now we're now governed by restrictions, by placements and so on, and this is impacting us on many fronts. As I said, it'll be economical, social, the demographics, everything. It's a change. So to kick it off, guys, welcome, thank you. I know it's been difficult to get one here. The first one to put out there is, it's the buzzword, it's COVID. You know, we've all got an opinion about this, for sure. And no doubt we'll see many things coming out from the mainstream media, and also from where we've delved and searched and researched and so on. And we need to try and think about how this has actually impacted us and what our feelings on this. Now, it'll be interesting to hear your thoughts on this. I would like to hear it from a number of ranges, be it from a mental standpoint, a financial standpoint, and also as well from an educational standpoint as well.
Yeah. So
what is it that we don't know? What can we do to actually... It's the here and now. What can we do to look forward and trying to give some sort of level of, I would say, some sort of hope, if that makes sense, and not to sort of be buying to scaremongering, allegedly. But what are your thoughts on that, Sam, please?
Okay, so realistically, we do have to use the word allegedly, and we do have to let people know that these are just opinions, and I'll tell you why. Because everybody's experienced COVID differently. Some people don't feel that they've ever seen the impact on or know anyone, do you know what I mean? So that you've got so many different stories coming out on Facebook, all of the conspiracy theories, everything that the government's trying to tell us, what they want us to believe. And we do have to understand, it is a story and a narrative that the government want us to hear. They don't necessarily want us to know what's going on. You can tell that when you look at care homes, everything's and the amount of deaths that may or may not have happened in care homes and who was responsible for that. Boris doesn't seem to want to take any responsibility, and neither does his government. So let's look at what we can quantify. Okay. A lot of people have suffered mental health, as you said, economy and jobs. So let's start with mental health. How many people are so used to being told what to do? We live in a pretty free society, I would say. So we're used to be able to get up, walk out, do what the hell we want to do. But now you're being told you've got to stay in. You can only go out a certain amount of time. You can only exercise a certain amount of time. And for anyone that already has mental health problems, that's already a problem, because exercise is what actually helps people feel better. It's a rush of endorphins, it helps them lift mental health moods. I would be very surprised if people weren't affected by this in regards to their mental health. Does that make sense? Okay,
so touch your points there. So I would say from a mental standpoint, I think, speak for me, I think it's important that we sort of have that element. I know for me, I found it very difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, initially, I went to lockdown with work from mid-March, and we're still in lockdown now, but I found it extremely difficult to stay, I had a routine, so to speak, right? So the gym, jiu-jitsu, martial arts is a big part of my life. And all of a sudden that part was ripped away. Yeah. Then all of a sudden we found ourselves working during the day, which is fun, working from home, but then the actual outlet of being able to go to the gym, being able to train, to hang with the guys, to discuss what we're going to do for the next month, our next syllabus, whatever, that was really difficult. And it was where it started to impact upon me, and I would say where it also affected my health, was that I'm starting to stress and worry, and that triggers my alopecia. Okay? So yeah, so that's my thing. But equally, as one of the instructors for the academy, I also had to remain upbeat
for your students.
For the students, because we have to give them hope.
100%.
What are your thoughts on that, Nick?
Yeah, you did remain upbeat. You give me a lot of positive vibes, because I did lose my way a little bit, I'll be honest, and I pride myself on being pretty mentally and physically healthy. And I think that what he said, that I think when that jiu-jitsu was taken away, it made me realise just the responsibility of actually, my role's changed over the last 5 years in jiu-jitsu. So I think like before, training was like kind of my outlet to get away from whatever was going on externally. And anytime I had an injury, a long time ago, I would go off track and I would lose my way. Jiu-jitsu would be the last thing on my mind. And over the last 5 years, injuries haven't affected me as much because I still have the responsibility. I have the school, I have people I have to look out for, I have the kids and the adults. So that's kind of, that responsibility has just held everything together. When that kind of went away, I did struggle a little bit the first couple months. My diet went out the window, and from that, everything starts to get a little bit more difficult, you know. And I had a lot of friends around me that were really struggling. So I was just trying to be a support network to anyone that close to me that was struggling through this.
Can I ask you guys, as men, how did you feel? Because I know that, I don't know if you was isolating alone or if you still had contact with family, but as men, most the men I know, they don't get a chance to talk about their mental health as such or how it affects them. And did you get the opportunity to express that, or that did you have people supporting you and your mental health?
Not really, because I'm quite an open individual. Like, I talk about mental health and my mental health for a lot of years. If people know me at the gym, I'm very open, I'm very expressive. I don't do social media and all that stuff, so you don't hear me talking about that stuff on there. But people that know me closely, I'm a pretty open individual. I'll talk about my troubles and what I've been through, to even if it's to empower and inspire others when others are struggling. I actually had 2 friends in 2 periods stay with me through lockdown. So I had one friend move with me immediately, based on the lockdown, messed a lot of stuff up for him. And then when he moved on, I had another friend, unfortunately split up with his wife. I think a lot of people had troubles through the lockdown, struggling with home life. So I took him in, and it was great though. I think even though there was a lot of stress and worry, I think that there was some good bonding going on.
Okay.
There was some good bonding going on. It gave me a lot of time to reflect and grow, and made me realise, like, you know, I didn't hold enough compassion, and I was probably a bit ruthless in my thoughts before this. I'm a very healthy individual, and like, I think people in jiu-jitsu, I think they're in search for that as well. Mental and physical health, I think it attracts that kind of individual. And outside of that, I'm just kind of like, well, if you don't want to join the party, then, you know, you don't really care about your health. But now I have a bit more compassion, because I realised that, you know, all the social engineering that's happened on over a long time, I think that, you know, people are lost, and I think I just want to reach out to more people now so people can find their way, you know. And I think we have a bright future coming. There's going to be short-term chaos, but I think from all this, I think a lot of people have realised a lot of things. My best friend, actually, he has a couple sons that are in that age where they're changing like every 6 months so much, and he's just amazed by the time that he's had to spend with them. So I think there's a lot of good things. I don't really want to go to the negative side of things too much with families and stuff, but as you said about the care homes and stuff, there's been some horrific things going down, but people are going to pay for that. So
I hope so.
Yeah. Hard. So through my work, I actually work for a financial firm organisation where, you know, I'm actually in the arm of the financial well-being. So it was difficult, because what we're getting more of a sort of an eye-opening sort of side of things. So what you end up with, we've got customers saying to us, okay, fine, I've now gone to furlough, or this has happened, my financial circumstances have changed. So when you're actually getting, you know, as part of our training, we have to listen to the calls, right? And you listen to calls, you can hear people who are in absolute dire straits. Okay? They are struggling. Whenever people say, I'm broke, but I bet you can go to the ATM, and when you plug the PIN number in, there's some money in the account. It may not be a lot, but there's money in the account. Now, these people are broke. They really were, right? So it's that sort of thing. So it's quite mentally intensive through work. What we're trying to do is that the great thing is I'm actually part of, or trying to be part of the solution, trying to make things better for them. But that is dealing with work with people who are vulnerable, right? That's one side. I've then got my parents are elderly, okay? Yeah, God bless them. Mum and dad, 90 years old. war horses,
Wow.
warriors, right? But again, you know, Mum hasn't been out for since March. Dad's been out 3 or 4 times. So there was that side of things. So not only is there the work side of things, there's, you know, thanks to my parents, right? Then I start thinking about my daughter, who's just turned 6. Now, again, I didn't see her for 2 months. But yeah, 2 months. And, you know, I get it. We're in an age where, you know, great, things are a bit different now. You've got FaceTime and Skype, whatever, but it's still 2 months.
Yeah.
Okay? And whilst we were speaking regularly on, you know, via FaceTime, that again made it difficult. So there's that part as well. So I've got, in essence, those 3 elements of stresses. There's the work side, there's the parental side, or the parent side, then there's the parental side, you know, my daughter. Now, in terms of the training side of things, the guys know me in the academy they call me Sarge. Sarge. Because I am one more round, I haven't got it, one more, and I will push. We've got a session called Murder Mondays, which is, it's an hour of sparring, but it's literally putting the guys through it.
Yeah.
Just putting the guys through it, right? So to actually be taken away from that environment, the actual impact was quite big. Could I speak about it? We tried, but to actually be able to sort of verbalise it was difficult. One of the great things about work is that we have wellbeing retros where we talk openly amongst the squads, teams, across the entire lab. It's fantastic, where we can actually speak and be like, do you know, this is how I'm feeling. And it, you know, I think that's been great, because now I'm in a position where 3 or 4 months on, I'm in a position where I can actually speak and say, today's not a good day, guys. And people get it, they understand. It's been hard, they get it and understand. And I think, you know, throughout this lockdown period, so to speak, as Nick's touched upon the sort of compassion side of things, for sure. I think I'm showing more compassion now. I think I'm being more selfless now, right? Because also it's not about me.
Yeah.
Okay? And strangely, the things that we saw with if you're walking with social distancing, and all of a sudden everyone developed manners. Everyone was a bit more aware. Sorry, after you, please, after you. And also it was just manners. So, you know, I guess one of the good things which has come up from lockdown is the fact that we're actually just going to say, after you, please, thank you, basics. Now, I would love for that to continue. And you know what, even if it continues only in 10% of us, that's 10% more than what we were doing before, right? So, you know, I'm always the eternal optimist. You know, there's nothing in my head that is insurmountable if you can just channel your mind and focus on it, right? And that's the way I see COVID. It's a challenge to us all. Okay, when we come out of lockdown, the question you want to be asking yourself is, what have I learnt? I'm not saying what have you learnt about COVID. I'm asking you, what have you learnt about yourself? Okay, what have you learnt about your family? What new skills have you acquired? But for me, I've been doing cooking with Mum, so my culinary skills have gone through the roof, right? But these are little bits and pieces I'm picking up from Mum, okay? And Mum lost her eyesight like 5 years ago, so she's doing things through taste and smell, and so it's bang on the money, right? So these are sort of things I'm looking at, and that I've come out of lockdown or restrictions with that, you know, just getting to reconnect with my mum a little bit more, with the family a little bit more, to understand Madden, to be a bit more appreciative that when I'm actually with my daughter, it's to get off the iPad, put down your phone, and spend time with my daughter. So I'm just far more appreciative of time. And I'm sure, Nicky, that when we go to training, and this will happen, okay? I am steadfast in this, it will happen, that we will return to training, we will return to swimming, to Zumba, whatever you do, you'll all return, guaranteed. But I guarantee you, when you go there for that hour, you'll be so into that hour, you'll buy into it. There's no wasting time or messing about. The appreciation will be different with different levels. Yeah. The guys, when we're at the academy, the guys are coming late, and they look at me coming, and I Stuart, 50 press-ups. Wow. Late again, 100 press-ups. But I think the guys always saying, okay, fine, class starts at 7. I'm going to be here for quarter 7 because I've had 3 or 4 months where I could not train, and the appreciation for that will occur then. And even like on jobs, people losing their jobs, right? People made redundant. People would appreciate all of a sudden, actually, you know what, yeah, work could be better, but actually, you know what, it's not as bad as I thought it was. Yeah. And if you don't believe me, take a look outside the window, where we're looking at potentially a rise in unemployment. to the point where it could double. It's 4 million now, it could be 8 million by the end of the year.
100%.
There is a huge, it's going to grow. So be thankful, just be thankful. Say, do you know what? Let me, chin up, head down, chin up, and battle through it, because to get through this period here, we will absolutely need to be united.